June is a very popular month for weddings, you know that. But when you never make it to the altar, what do you think should happen to that engagement ring? Well, a man who goes by the name The Lawyer in Blue Jeans looks at the legal aspects. So why don't we say hello to Jeff Isaac. Hello, Mr. Lawyer in Blue Jeans.
Good morning. How are you, Robin?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well. Say I get a ring from a guy who I thought was my forever love, but he calls it off. Shouldn't I be able to keep the ring?
Well, it really depends. There's like 3 different ways to look at that, the way the courts do it. They look at it, first of all, as a contract. They say, well, it's a consideration. I'm giving you the ring for consideration of you marrying me. And if you call it off, then guess what? I get it back. But if I call it off, you get to keep it. That's one. Then you have the old-fashioned sexist kind of thing. It's called a symbolic gesture. In the old days, they used to have things like you would give a piece of dirt or a rock to somebody as a gesture for transferring land. It's the same thing with marriage. They would give rings as a gesture saying, you know, this is my good faith to marry you. And then let's say the marriage got called off. And it's really like a possessory interest, like you are my possession. And this very sexist. But the reality is in the old days and in this theory, the woman would always get to keep the ring because gestures are not returned. And last but not least, it's about gifts. There's a theory on gifts, either unconditional or conditional, and whichever one the court really deals with is how it's going to go, which means that if it's an unconditional gift, it's really given the ring in the hope of a marriage, and hope isn't good enough, so that what that means is that you get to keep the ring no matter what. But if it's conditional upon the marriage being fulfilled, then the man gets it back if the woman breaks it off. So it really comes down to kind of a fault situation. Who's at fault and which theory you follow.
So you've kind of provided me like three different answers, though. So if I took it to court, it sounds like whatever the judge was looking at or thinking about as a precedence would kind of determine whether I would get the ring or not.
Yeah, it is exactly that. I've given you 3 different theories that courts take. The majority opinion in most courts, including California, is simply the theory of gift, the fact that it is a conditional gift, and therefore that whoever breaks off the marriage loses, so to speak, if you want to look at it that way.
Now, how about the reasons why a wedding was called off? For example, if he's a sneak and I find out, shouldn't I get the ring? But if I'm a cheat or I confess, hey, I never really loved you anyway, shouldn't he get the ring? Yeah,
actually, many of the courts will look at fraud and those kinds of things as ways to get around either giving the ring back or keeping it, depending on who is the fraudulent person. So, yeah, you're right on target. It has to do with equity as well, and so many judges will look at who's the better person here, who is the one that is the sneak, or who is the one that really had everything in good faith. That really is important in law as well.
Up on the screen, Jeff, you can notice how it looks like as we get older, that what we pay for a diamond ring goes up, too. So, you know, some people say, why would you want the jewelry that reminds you of someone who maybe hurt you? But in the end, what do you find is usually the case? Why do people want to keep the rings if it signifies a love that isn't real anymore?
Yeah, well, you know what? There's a lot of, this is the psychological part. I'm just a lawyer in blue jeans. I just know kind of the blue jean style law, which is down to earth. But what I do know is that there's a lot of resentment that comes with whether it be divorce or calling off engagements. And at the same time, sometimes there can be a lot of money. So you add the 2 together, there's a lot of impetus for us to, or somebody, to pursue these actions. And then guess who really wins? The lawyers. The lawyers are the ones that wins because they're going to get all the money.
Lawyer in Blue Jeans, Jeff Isaac, we got to run. Thank you so much. Nice to talk with you.